Mr. Chairman, from you and our Republican colleagues, we've heard much already today about the desirability of leaving more of these decisions to the states and seeking Main Street solutions rather than Washington solutions. Well, this motion deals with a attempt to give the states more responsibility in the area of social services, an attempt, in fact, that was signed into law by one Ronald Reagan. It is a program that has enjoyed through the years bipartisan support. It has been renewed without heavy ideological debate as a way to assist the states in meeting their responsibilities to many of our most vulnerable citizens. Now, at a time that Republicans are telling us we need to block grant Medicaid, some are even saying we need to block grant Social Security, we are told that this particular block grant program, signed into law by President Reagan, should be abolished. It is part of the same thinking that when Republicans tell us that something should be reformed, they usually mean repeal, as with repeal and replace, where there is no replacement that has been advanced over the course of the last year and a half. Specifically with the Social Services Block Grant Program, I can't say that all of the criticism of the concept of block grants is misplaced. I've found at times that these block grant programs go to block-headed governors that don't make effective use of the resources that they get from the federal government, or mainly use these block grants to claim credit for funding programs that they did not provide the tax dollars for, but that were raised in a totally different place. But I think in looking at block grant programs, and this particular one was criticized in the Ways and Means hearing solely on the basis that the state program didn't have enough standards to it. In other words, it didn't have enough Washington restrictions on Main Street solutions. Well, there may be a merit to having some additional standards apply to this block grant. It may even be that this block grant is not the highest priority in our government funding. But my concern is that at a time when the states are making significant cutbacks in all of their social services, the question is not whether this is the very best way to do it, but whether or not there are some Americans who will suffer dramatically if this block grant program that followed the same concept that is being advocated today for Medicaid, if this block grant program is terminated, which is what this motion would prevent and what the reconciliation bill we have up today would do. Let me talk a little about how this social services block grant, without many standards, giving the states flexibility to allocate these dollars as they choose to do so in the social service area, is utilized in Texas. Texas, in Austin, in San Antonio, and other parts of the state relies heavily on this program to fund the Meals on Wheels program. Sharon Bauman, who heads the Christian Senior Services program in San Antonio, says that in that county, a large number of the people that they serve are veterans or the spouse of a veteran. That these are people that have served their country, paid their taxes, and lived productive lives. And it really is, as she said to me, it really isn't asking so much to make sure that they receive at least one healthy meal every day. It is that funding that would be eliminated if this motion is not adopted. Michael Goldstein at Meals on Wheels and more in Austin says that these cuts would be absolutely devastating to the people that they serve. They would be devastating to budgets because of the tremendous cost of placing seniors in nursing homes because they cannot live independently when they lose their meal, a critical part of that. One person who benefits directly is my neighbor, Mary Simpson. She says people like me who live on Social Security don't have a lot of money. Meals on Wheels helps out so much, especially when everything is so costly. Even buying a loaf of bread and lunch meat is difficult for me, but with Meals on Wheels, at least I know I get one good meal a day. It is that type of program that will be seriously compromised. Indeed, in the words of the director who relies on these funds, absolutely devastated if this block grant is terminated, contrary to the ideology being advanced today, but the practice of eliminating the Social Services block grant. Of course, some other states have chosen to use their monies through this block grant in different ways. In New York, for example, funds are used by Adult Protective Services. In California, the focus is on special services to individuals with disabilities. We have heard from a wide range of groups across the country, groups like Catholic Charities and Easter Seals, the ARC, the Children's Defense Fund, about what will happen at a time that so many states are making cutbacks, are seriously impairing social services, if on top of that, this social services block grant is axed as well. The kind of person that the ARC serves, for example. And it is important that we're not just talking about billions of dollars here, we're talking about individual lives. Jenny is a 52-year-old woman who grew up in a state institution. She was discharged into the community in the 1980s with no training, no family, no support, and no income. The ARC found her a place to live, a volunteer to take her to the doctor and teach her how to ride the bus. And they got her signed up for doctor's appointments and therapies. That's the kind of service that this social services block grant is going to pay for. And Jenny is the kind of person, you can talk about duplication, you can talk about efficiency, it's Jenny who's being asked to pay for the abolition of this program. And Donald, a 30-year-old man with significant physical and mental disabilities. His mother died when he was in his 50s, and his siblings are not caring for him. He's in danger of being institutionalized. It is the service that he's provided through these funds that make a difference in his life. I think it is a life worth protecting, as is this social services block grant program. We will see many abused children in some states adversely affected. With cuts that have already been made in child and protective services, a number of people wrote me in my role as the ranking member of the Human Resources Subcommittee to tell me about what the effect would be in their state on abused children if these dollars are lost. These are real, live human beings who will suffer directly if these resources are not there.